Witch Life podcast. And if you were here about 2 months ago, you would have maybe caught I committed to doing one podcast episode a month that was Tarot for Recovery. And it totally slipped my mind in December. And it's totally going to slip my mind again if I don't write this post enough. I just went to go into my task management software and got sidetracked somehow. So let me just put this down. Sorry about this, folks. Create task. All right, that'll do it. So this is going to be for the month ahead. I'm not going to do these weekly. I'm certainly not going to do them daily. It's going to be for the month ahead. And so, you might want to save this. You might want to, like, subscribe to all that kind of stuff for the channel and come back to it. I am using, just in case those folks care to know, I'm using the Thoth Tarot deck. I used this one the last time. I almost teetered and used I have another deck that's sitting here at the desk, but I was told no, go back to the Thoth. It's the one I specifically have used as I've been in recovery for my own pulls, and so we're going to use this again. I am going to, and I think I did this last time. I wish I would have written notes, but I didn't see them. So I'm going to pull one card for the whole month. Okay, then I'll reshuffle and I'll pull for each week. I'll reshuffle before each of the weeks. And so we're going to look at just the overall theme for January. For those of you, you're going to be one of maybe two types of individuals. One of those individuals that moves more, aligns more naturally with just the cycle of the year. And so the new year, though on the calendar is a pretty big deal, might not feel like a big deal for you, right? You would have shifted around Yule, around the winter solstice. That's much more similar to me. But from a time perspective, it's helpful for us to take a look at, it's a container. I'll put it to you that way. It's a container. So don't think of January's needing to necessarily be something new. In and of itself, in this time of the year, we are in an energetic between Yule and Imbolc that leads us to this time that I believe is meant for planning. Right? So if we think about a gardener, we are going to start to plan our garden. And damn well I'm going to have some notebooks around with what I want to start doing. But January here alone, let's look at this month. We've got 2 moons this month. We've got the Wolf full moon, and we've got our new moon in Capricorn. And I don't know. We're not looking at astrology here, but I am feeling like there is some big astrological energy just from what I'm being told. Interesting, when I just asked what it was, it's some kind of like purging energy. There's going to be something that you're called, something else that you're finally called to let go of. And I would correlate this more so to the latter part of the Chinese year, astrological year, which is we are walking out of the year of the snake, right? Their new year doesn't start here until February. So there's like one last final shedding that needs to happen this month. Let's see, what is the card for the month? High Priestess, right? You are going to be, I want you to think about this from the perspective of the year of 2025, the year of the snake may have been very difficult for you. You are being called into your own power, right? All of the things that have shed, that have been removed, that have been released, may have left you feeling relatively raw. But at the end of the day, that rawness is where you pull your power from. It's where you you kind of anchor yourself in. If you are more nature-based, this is where you're going to reach down into the earth and pull and grab that power and hold it within and be able to do the type of magic in the world that you desire to do. And when I say magic, it's not all spell works and rituals that I'm talking about. Magic is also in the form of creation. So for some of you, this may be creating new things. This may be working with your kids on new things. This may be creating a new human, right? There is a lot of that energetic right now where you have shed the things in the past, and now is the time to step forward into that act of creation, that magical act of creation. And thinking about that feeling of still needing to shed, right? You're being called to gain your power, to gather your power. You're being called to pull it together, right, this month, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to take action, right? The priestess is not just about action. And I'm realizing, there we go, microphone might help. So hopefully the rest of that wasn't too horrible. I could see the mic hitting in the green. Um, Anything else about the priestess? Hmm. Interesting. The other thing that I'm hearing, uh, there may be some karmic play going into place here, right? Do not hold on to things that you don't need to hold on to, right? So, what I mean by that is not everything has karmic purpose, and there may be things that you're bringing about or holding on to right now that you're thinking you have some kind of karmic, right, obligation to it. And, the word is really do unto others as you would want done unto yourself, is the word. And when I asked, I said, does this mean from their action? And they said, no. This is others acts towards you. So um, be conscious and be cautious of that. Do not feel. I'm not a big fan of revenge. Justice is another thing, but revenge. So just be very conscious of where you're using your power this month as well. Let's take a look at that first week that we've got. Um, that first week, the new moon is, or I'm sorry, the full moon is pretty much the start of this week. I believe it's in Gemini. All right. And we're going to pull what's working for you in your recovery for this week, what's working against you, and what's some kind of delight or some kind of wild card. So I pull 3 cards and we'll see what they show. One more. You're going to feel a bit overstrained in this first week. Not a surprise to me, though. If you've taken any time off, if you've used the holiday to relax, even though it may have been busy, it was a different kind of busy. It was the busy of enjoyment. Typically, it's a busy of, even obligation. And so you may just be wiped out or just like so in the chill and relax mode that your call to needing to get back into things, get into this, to take action, to do stuff is a lot. And, I say that this, and it's interesting, right? Why would this be working for you? Um, there are certain things that you are going to want to do that you do not need to do. Okay. And I really want to emphasize this. You may want to do them, you do not need to do them. And when it comes to spirit, if we are doing things that we want and don't need, sometimes we are wasting our time and our energy. Okay. And so that's how this like feeling of maybe being a little bit worn out, a little bit not ready for all the action of jumping back into swing of things is going to work for you. As far as what's going to work against you, I think that there are some of you, me included, I'm like, I go to pay bills this coming weekend, and I'm going, all right, we're going to see how some of the spending over the holidays was, ate out a little bit more, bought a couple of extra gifts that I may not have intended. And so this is one of the things that may be working against you is kind of your your desire for indulging, but yet you may have missed the indulgence on yourself, right? And so one of the things I'll give you an example is, instead of taking an hour or 2 hours out of your day to do something, or your holiday, however many days that you had to do something specifically for yourself, you avoided it. And so again, if you, yeah, strongly recommend that next week you find that hour, ideally 2 hours, to just indulge yourself. And that doesn't mean that you have to spend money. That can mean a really nice cup of tea and a book that you haven't read. This could mean an early bedtime. This could be uh, taking a walk, or this could mean, like maybe going out and returning some of the things that you received that you didn't really truly want. And last but not least, the delight is you can expect for some things to be coming about. This nine of, so we had the Knight of Wands, we had the Four of Cups, and then we've got this Nine of Pentacles, which is the word of gain. There is some interesting, when I asked them what's to gain, um, it came forward in a sense of feeling and accomplishment. Like you look back and you feel really, really proud of the work, that you've kind of done over the course of the last couple of weeks or even the last year, even like in 2025. There's this gain that happens in this like reflection that you take. They're saying not to shuffle again. Interesting. So let's go. Week two. Week two, we are looking at to start, what's working for you is the Magician. The Magus is showing up here, and so you have a lot of tools and things are accessible to you, um, that typically work well for you. Uh, the I don't want to say the removal of, there's something you cannot find in this second week, something that you are used to using. So this could be like a date book. This could be a favorite pen. This could be, something that you cannot find. It's not readily at hand. And it's working in your favor. It's going to help you to explore something different, a different way to do things, a different tool. Um, Weirdly enough, the images that they put into my head is I bought myself a chopper. It was like the one thing um, I wanted for Christmas and, didn't have on my wish list. So nobody thought to buy it for me. And so this would be it, like realizing that something no longer that you work and going, oh my gosh, I have something better. Right. So that's a bit of what's going to be working in your favor on that week too. What's working against you as it relates to any of your recovery or your journey here is this Eight of Pentacles, and things feel a little bit slower. They require some patience. They require persistence too. The word on this card is prudence, and so when I think of how to define that, it's patient persistence, right? Um, and that is not your forte. That is not something that comes easy to a lot of us. And for whatever reason, this is hitting someone right now. I'm hearing like a ding, ding, ding. Somebody's hearing this. Like your patience is going to be tested. And if you can find that ability, that persistent patience, that prudence, um, you'll find that it's things are a lot easier. The surrender in week two around your patience makes things feel a lot more comfortable. Last but not least for week three is a delight or something that you can anticipate. Um, you it sounds like a phone call. You're going to get a phone call. I don't know why. It's the Eight of Swords that shows up, which is representative of interference, but it shows to me as a phone call. I'm like hearing a phone ringing. There's going to be some kind of phone call that delights. So you're hearing from somebody you haven't heard from a while. You're getting some news that you've been waiting for and anticipating and are really excited about. Um, yeah, really excited about because I'm hearing some clapping and some cheers. Now they want me to shuffle. Interesting. There must be that new moon must be right around hitting around that week three, I'm assuming then. Yeah, spirit's very interesting. I read tarot, but I use it as a tool. I'm not dependent upon it. So a lot of what I receive is the messages, the vision, things that they say, those clapping, those applause. So week three, if we've got that new moon in Capricorn, the goat, this is potentially a time that you might be called or might have a desire to do some really lovely work around your goals. There's really not another sign um, that is more goal oriented than a goat, right? And that Capricorn. All right. Nice. So week 3, we start out as far as what's working in your favor is you have a lot of your social gatherings, like your social circle is working in your favor in this week 3. This is someone's that you turn to, that you lean on, and they provide a lot. This is like the type of relationship where both of you guys are filling each other's cups. You're never feeling drained. You are never feeling washed out is the word. It feels very abundant. But on the flip side, what's working against you is you typically need some downtime, some time to be able to like pause, reflect, and look internally. And because of this like deep desire to be with these folks in recovery, like these beautiful relationships, you're not necessarily giving yourself the level of time that you would normally use. And it is a bit of a drain. You would be well served in week 3 to carve out just even 15 minutes, is what I'm seeing. Just 15 minutes to pause, to reflect, to check in with yourself, check in with your mind, your body, your spirit. Say, am I giving myself everything that I need to be whole, to be happy, to be hopeful, to remain, in a regulated nervous system? And this 15 minutes enough will be helpful for you. And I really love that the delight that you receive is pleasure. Like this gathering, this time with these folks is a really, really lovely experience. There's a lot of enjoyment that comes from it. We've got the 3, we've got the 6 of Cups is the next one. And both of these are upright. And so I just feel like there's a lot of delight, a lot of pleasure, a lot of joy, a lot of togetherness. And for those of you that are a bit more introverted, please don't think that this means that you have to gather, right? This could mean, for some of you, maybe this is, jumping online and playing some video games with some folks that you like. Maybe this is joining an online book club. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be something that is outside of your comfort zone. Okay. All right. That 4th week. We've got the Knight of Swords here. And you'd be well served to stay home. Um, and it's interesting because I'm hearing the picture of this is, it's literally the knight on the back of a horse for this card, and it looks like a kind of like a helicopter there. And I can hear, this helicopter, but it's upright, or it's reversed. And so this feels like you're going to be receiving some type of invitation to travel, to come visit, to come do something with folks. And you are best served to say no thank you, or to find some other way to participate where you don't have to travel. Um yeah, and I'm even getting in my mind's eye like a this one. Like traveling is not in your highest and best interest. Tell me, is this a safety issue? It's an energetic issue. Um, mm, I don't know where you might be at, but I know my partner this morning was talking about a news article that he read that this flu strain that's going around is really, really rough, and is not being picked up by the flu shot. And so I feel like there is risk if you were to travel, right, of picking up some kind of, you know, communicable disease in that nature. As far as what's working against you in the recovery, this is in this particular deck, it's the art card. It would be card number 14. I always forget what it is in the traditional deck, but um, in this card, it is creation. Um, and the card is reversed. And so help me understand, Spirit. How is this? Hmm. Hmm. Sorry, sometimes they speak in pictures and trying to translate that to you. So There has been time, energy, and effort that you've been putting into something, and it's not working out the way that you would anticipate. And what this can lead to sometimes is frustration, right? We can be frustrated if we have to start over. We could be frustrated that folks don't like it. We could be frustrated uh, that you know uh, it's not going as we anticipated or planned. And that's what this card is. So that frustration is, in essence, what is showing up, right? Where this things aren't working out or turning out or feeling as though they are benefiting you in the way that you anticipated. Um, the thing about this, though, is it's quickly over. It's very quickly done with. It's very quickly wrapped up. It's we've got the 4 of Wands, right? So whatever that frustrate, like the what you need to do to move on to the other side of it is very, very quick. Okay. All right. Let's see. Is there anything in reflection? Hmm. As far as the month of January in reflection, I believe what this is telling me is that at the end of the month, if you were to look back, this is a month that feels very accomplished, very aligned with what you want to be doing, very aligned with what you need to be doing. And that's for everything. That's, in your recovery journey, that's in your personal life, not that they're separate, but in all of these like fractions of kind of the journey in your life, um, they're all very much aligned and you feel accomplished and validated in it. Yeah. So I hope that helps. If you've enjoyed this, again, drop a comment, drop a I don't know, like, subscribe, all of that kind of crazy great stuff. We put this up on YouTube, but we're dropping it into the shorts as well. So if you got any questions too, please feel free to reach out. Until next time, my dear friends, much love from me to you. Oh, and have a beautiful January.